Hello and welcome to another See You Next Time podcast. Today we will be discussing Liverpool's bargain basement signing from Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz. And joining me today to make me look better by comparison is Ed76, our Seamus, and Ed25, Sport Billy. Welcome, Seamus. I would say it is good to see you again, but my ma taught me not to lie. And welcome to you too, Billy. It was very nice of the nursing home to let you use the computer today. What time is the nurse back for you?
About 5:30.
Right, we've got 20 minutes then, basically, so we need to get through it quick then, do we?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah. All right, so Wirtz, I mean, record signing, 22 years old, can play pretty much any attacking role and central midfield, fourth youngest Bundesliga debutant. Is he a great signing or is it a expensive mistake?
Well, I think he can be a great signing. I've watched bits of him play, quite a few videos of him, and he looks the real deal to me. Now, I will say two words of caution to you. Jadon Sancho would be the only two words of warning. Who looked brilliant in the Bundesliga, but when he comes to the thing, he looked terrible. No. But I'm not saying Wirtz is like that. I'm just saying don't expect him to be this brilliant player. I think he's a very good player, but he hasn't been tested yet in a serious league.
Can I just say something? It's this constant Sancho looked brilliant in the Bundesliga. I used to say to Shane all the time, and on the sites all the time about it. Sancho looked dogma even before he signed for Man United. I was saying it to you, weren't I, Seamus? We were talking about how defenders would literally just jump out of the way, and at the end of games and stuff for him. And he was only, he had a few good substitute appearances, like 5 minutes when the players, and that was it. And somehow he got this ridiculous reputation of being amazing. And I don't know where it came from. I can only think people didn't actually watch him because he was god awful player. I couldn't believe that Dortmund would, manage to get so much money for him. I can only think nobody watched him play.
I can see that, and I was going by what people were saying about him in the media. So I'm probably wrong there. But what I will say is that although I think he'll be a great signing for Liverpool, I'm saying this now, I think he'll be a great signing for Liverpool. The defending, as you have pointed out rightly, is not that great in the Bundesliga. So, he's going to come up against better quality defences than what he has been. I'm not saying he can't come good. I think he will come good. But I don't think it's going to be a foregone conclusion that he's going to be this world beater. I think he's very, very good. And with better players around him, he might even be better than that. He could become world class. But I'm just a note of caution that not everything comes off. But if anyone's got a chance, I think he's got as good a chance as anybody.
Seamus?
I think firstly when you bring up Mr. Man in Yellow, Jadon Sancho himself, I think a more correct comparison would be Gittins that Chelsea signed from. Someone who doesn't have the same volume of games for anyone to make a true judgment call. Like Chris was saying, Sancho hadn't hadn't stamped his authority on the team, wasn't a first team regular for someone who you would expect to play third-year league games for Dortmund. Third-year league starts for Dortmund. Whereas Wirtz is slightly older, also because he made his debut at such a young age. He's also gotten a lot of game time under his belt. He has also faced adversity with long-term injuries, shown that he's capable of coming back, which probably gives us a look into his mental strength and action as well. And the most important thing, when we look at Wirtz is not gonna be, is he a good player? I think the question should and will be, is he as good as the price tag suggests?
Mm.
He cannot give us the same, give Liverpool the same returns as Soboslai and feel justified, because even Soboslai has his doubters solely based on the numbers.
Yeah. Can I ask you something before we go any further?
The quality, yeah, it's how much can it translate?
How much did you get for the sponsorship on your T-shirt that you made a good big point of showing us by pointing out by going, look, on my yellow shirt? How much are they paying you for that? Is this
No,
He sells them in the shop.
is this one of the modelling contracts you feel fulfilling?
I wish it just happened to me that I was wearing a yellow. Like the moment I look
Yeah.
at the old face that come
It's,
up right now, it
you
sounds like
definitely went to show the logo. That was a calculated
Yeah.
maneuver, wasn't it, Bill?
Yeah,
So,
he
yeah.
sells them in the shop, Tris.
Yeah, that's why
Sells
he
them in
was.
the shop.
That's why it took so long for him to get in, to get in line. He was obviously getting fitted for the new shirt. You know what I mean? They said, "Oh, hang on, before you do your next pod, hang on, we need to get this shirt fitted for you." He has to get them specially made, obviously, because he's.
anyone.
People like him don't live in off the shelf stuff, do they?
No.
It's tailored fit. No, that's
Yeah.
what you call, not relaxed. It's a tailored fit.
Yeah, exactly. We know. Yeah. When you got a house like yours, you don't just go to you don't just go and buy it off the peg, do you? They come to you and fit it for you.
You do
What?
realize that we work on a given timer. It's not your podcast from before where you can just ramble on for 30
Yeah,
minutes and then
sorry, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
Apologies there. I got
Tris, what's
sidetracked.
your view on Wirtz? What's your view on Wirtz?
I'm really excited, mate. I mean, he was, for me, if somebody had said to me before the transfer, I mean, obviously I was talking about Cunha, but I think Wirtz, I mean, obviously it's hard to tell because they play in different leagues against different teams and that. But I think Wirtz is a step up from Cunha level. Is what if I was just like looking at that, the Wirtz was the one that you're looking at and going, I'd love to sign him. But that's it. You just forget about because you thought he's unattainable. When you find out there's a chance, it's like, oh, please, please just sign him. There is no one else I would have rather have signed. He is exactly what we're missing. Last season, what we struggled with wasn't wasn't scoring goals as such. It was creating chances, good chances, unless Trent Alexander-Arnold was in the team. And he's gone. We needed someone to provide the creativity without him there. And I think Wirtz does that. He totally changes it because suddenly you play him in the centre and suddenly there's going to be space opening up out wide. You've got Frimpong and Kirkes are going to be, or Bradley, and whoever on the left. You know what I mean? You've opened up space for them to attack and put balls in as well. So you've improved the whole team by just putting that one. Even if he's not at his best, he's going to frighten defences. They're going to watch him.
Yeah.
And it's before we didn't have that. What we had was when Trent Alexander-Arnold was playing, the whole team, the opposition team sat deeper, 10 yards deeper. Every single team, didn't matter who you're playing. Immediately he gets on the ball, they drop off because they're terrified of what he could do with the ball. I know people criticise his defending, but what he could do with the ball was special. He could pick out someone from anywhere. And without that, we needed someone to provide that. And I think I think he's about as good as it gets. He is, the best around that I could see. The right age, to improve. The right personality profile. He seems to like Seamus said, he's come back from adversity, that cruciate ligament tear. He's come back from that. He seems like a really nice lad as well. He gets on great with Frimpong, which is always helpful. That he knows people within the squad. And what was the other thing I was going to say as well? And I've forgotten now because I got sidetracked. Yeah, he scores goals.
Does he need score?
Creates goals.
Does he need someone alongside him, Tris? Does he?
Well,
And scorer. Do you still
he
need a goal
needs. I
scorer?
still think we need a striker as well because he's great at playing the key. The what they call key passes. The through balls and that. You need someone to be getting on the end of him. Can't be just Salah and whoever's on the left, which probably Gakpo, but might not be depends on we'll see at the end of the window, but yeah, you need someone. You need somebody in
but
front of him as
they're
well.
not bad options.
Hmm?
Sorry, but they're not bad options for people to get on the end of those chances that he in theory will create for you guys.
Yeah, we just
Salah
don't.
and
You don't want to fall into Nunes, though. That's the thing, do you?
I don't think he's going to be there, is he, really?
No, I'm saying that he's clearly checked out. Last season, it's not so much that I think he'd missed too many. It's more that he checked out last season. He clearly gave up, stopped trying at one point, and you can't have that around the squad. A player with that attitude, you've got to get them out before they infect the rest of the squad with it. And oh yeah, that was the other thing I was saying to him. He clearly, he desperately wanted to join Liverpool. He turned down City. No matter what City say about costing too much, they pulled out because he said no, thank you. You know what I mean? He didn't want to join. He chose Liverpool over Bayern as well. And that kind of thing is, that when a player actually wants to play for the club, it's a big plus. Like Cunha for signing for Man United. It's a massive plus that he wanted them over everybody else. As soon as he heard Man United's interest, I said, he doesn't want to negotiate with anybody else. That'll do. Thank you. I'm happy. That's where I want to go. And that's what you want at your club, is players that want to do that. It's like, I can't think of anyone that would do that for Everton, though. I'm trying to think of someone. I can't imagine it. Can't think of anyone right now that you could say this. I'm sure there must be someone.
Tim Cahill.
Yeah.
Tim Cahill of years ago, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need those kind of players, though. They make a huge difference.
But he was a good player. That made him a good player, Tim Cahill.
Oh, I liked him.
The fact that he liked being there, he enjoyed his football, and he loved the club. It can be the only factor that determines whether someone is good or bad for the team. Not for everyone, but there are some players who just need that thing to get them going, get them.
Well, it's just that little. I mean, it might only be a 1/10% difference to their attitude and the way they try, but that can be the difference between winning and losing. Sometimes just having that little bit, that little tiny bit more about them because they're trying that tiny bit harder. And that can be the difference between a win and a loss. And it is such fine margins at this top end of the game that these things do matter. And so I couldn't be more excited than I am for him. I mean, look, you only have to look at what you got the whoscored.com, because I'm sticking with them just because we started off using them as because their strengths and weaknesses and that thing's quite, it's quite funny sometimes. But they've given his strengths. He's very strong at key passes, dribbling and passing, and strong at through balls and long shots, which makes sense because he scored 19 goals and 13 assists last season. So yeah. So they say his weakness.
Where does he fit in, Trish? Can I ask where he fits in the side and for who? Whose place does he take?
He can play anywhere, but I don't think it's as simple as that, because I think it'll be. Oh, his shame is gone. I think it'll be a bit horses for courses. Sometimes he'll play, sometimes he'll play as a false nine instead of the strike. There won't be a striker for some games, I think. And other games he'll play behind the striker, behind the forward, and as a 10. And it won't be so much he'll take out, because Slot's a clever man, and he's clearly assessed the problems, and we did look tired in midfield. You know what I mean? He wasn't able to rotate as much as he wanted last season. Now he can. He's got 3 strong options for two roles behind Wirtz, and he's also got a couple of options, that can swap around with Wirtz if Wirtz needs a rest as well. You know, so I don't think it'll be as simple as he'll take a place. It'll be a squad game, and Slot will be able to choose between the four midfielders depending on who we're facing. You know, Wirtz, Bosley, McAllister, and Gravenberch. Gravenberch, a lot of times last season he looked absolutely knackered and he needed a rest, and Slot wasn't able to give him any rest. So I think that'll make a big difference because now he's got options. He can rest him. Or McAllister. I mean, McAllister's already had 6 months off, hasn't he? Because he finished the season. They sent him home after we'd won the league. So basically, he said, just go and have a rest. So he's had a good break. But it just means it just gives more options. That's what it's about. The one thing I did find strange, they say on the whoscored.com that his weakness is his defensive contribution. Now, for me, I thought he was fantastic at leading the press for Bayer Leverkusen. I thought his contribution, he was one of the best for winning the ball back high up the pitch. You know what I mean? But I suppose it depends on how they see this. This is where stats miss out things because it's out context. A player might win the ball back, but not actually gain it to his feet by disrupting the putting somebody under pressure makes them give it away to a teammate. It's him that's won the ball back, really, but the stats will show it as being intercepted by another player. You know, this is why I hate stats because they don't have the you know what I mean? So he might not, because I think defensively, I thought he was excellent for Bayer Leverkusen the last couple of seasons. Well, I don't know what you thought, Seamus. You've watched a fair bit of him as well. I thought he was.
No, not as much last season, but especially more so the season before when we done undefeated in the league. A lot of the times when I was watching, obviously they were dominating the games. They were probably most definitely leading by a healthy margin at times, but in those circumstances when they were playing slightly, it's not a park the bus thing. That just does not exist in Germany. But when they were slightly more chilled out, relaxed, Wirtz was usually the highest man on the Leverkusen team. Like he was the furthest forward, so I think that also skews the defensive numbers that you can find for him. I would really be interested who scored with profile Osil and his defensive output.
Mm.
Because it's not like in the raw numbers statistical figures, it's more about the sprints you make back, the tackles and interceptions that you directly contribute. But sometimes it's also about the role definition, the position that you are allowed to take by the team, and also it's about cutting passing lanes, maybe, or driving someone from a more threatening to less threatening zone, or passing along the play. There are certain different things that can contribute from a player towards the defensive setup. Because when I was watching, when I was talking about his defensive output wasn't that much of an issue. Like I said, like when we discussed about the low volume of defensive access weren't that great even when he was asked to do. But once he pulled up his socks when required, is what I was always left thinking about his defensive contributions as well.
Mm.
Have I answered your questions?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because I did know, I mean, he did pick up a lot of yellow cards, which is strange for a player that's not getting it, that's supposed to be lacking a defensive contribution. He's obviously getting stuck in. Because he's got 10 yellow cards and he's not really known for. Oh, where's he come? What's he done now? Billy,
He's coughing his
still
head
away.
off. He's had too many cigars.
Yeah, are you still away, Bill? Because I was wondering that. I thought you'd fallen asleep for a second then. Did he bore you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm still good, mate.
Yeah, so he's
Do
obviously.
you know what I'm really looking forward to as well is Frimpong. Do you know what? He comes across as a really nice guy, by the way.
Yeah,
And if he's a mate of Waits, that's going to help Waits.
yeah,
But he comes, and did you see the party he had when he signed for Liverpool, his family, and they were all round in Liverpool shirts? Honestly, he's someone who you really want at your club, Frimpong, for me. And I think
yeah.
he's going to be as much of a success, if not more than what probably Bates might be for his enthusiasm alone.
And
You know what I mean? He's got a great attitude.
yeah, because we did that. We did the Frimpong. We did a pod on Frimpong first off. As our test one, test run to test
All
out this
right,
new
yeah.
format. And like, oh, Seamus is gone, has he? Yeah. So we talk, and I was saying then, I said like, love him already. You know what I mean? He's got that Robertson vibe about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
He's
got.
got like, you've got that feeling. He's kind of got that big character like Robertson, and he's very close friends with Wirtz as well. They got injured together. When Wirtz was out, they were both out injured at the same time. So they got friendly then.
All
So,
right.
yeah, they did. There's quite a few like pictures of them together going around, like when he was out on his crutch. When Wirtz is on his crutches and that, and Frimpong's there. And they've been good friends since then. So that's like they've been mates for the last 3-4 years, like so it should
Do
help.
you think there's going to be at a bedding in period, which obviously you
Mm.
usually get for new players coming? You've got Kirkes, who I think will start the season. I think Frimpong will start, and I think Vates will start. Do you think they'll take a little bit of bedding in, or do you think that'll be done pre-season rather than wait for the start?
I think they'll probably take a bit of betting in, but every team's going to be in a similar situation by the looks of it at the start of
Yeah.
the season, so that might not affect the results. But I do think, yeah, it's going to take them a while to get. But I don't know if Frimpong will start though.
You
Bradley,
don't think so, no?
I, you know,
Do you think so?
I don't
I
know.
think
That's what I'm
Frimpong
saying.
will personally.
I think it'll come down to how they perform in pre-season. Because it's like
Mm.
Szoboszlai but wasn't in the picture at the start of in pre-season. Harvey Elliott had the place nailed down, finding at the point of the midfield. In pre-season, Elliott was absolutely flying, and then he got injured. Just at the end, towards the end of pre-season, he got injured, and he's and that was it. He was done. His season was pretty much over because when he came back, obviously Liverpool are top of the league and running away with it, and he never managed to get his place back. Like, and obviously, it's led to him pretty much looking like he's leaving now. And
Mm.
I think it'll come down to pre-season again, and it could be as something like an injury. Bradley does suffer a fair few like niggly injuries, so that could. So yeah, but if he's fit and flying, when Frimpong doesn't get off to a flyer, I think he might start with Bradley, and then he's got the option to rotate him and Frimpong about, because he does like to take off the fullbacks towards the end of the game. If you notice, he almost every single game, after about 60 odd minutes, he starts to. You can see almost always he would take off the fullbacks. He did like to change them quite a lot. So I think it'll be a bit of that, you know what I mean, where they'll swap about.
So will Waits play centrally?
So
Will he?
yeah,
Will he play centrally?
I mean
And and
Gakpo's pretty much got the left
Gakpo on the
foot.
left and Salah on the right.
Yeah,
So that's the way you think
all
it'll
his
start.
all his like if you look at his like the like scores, the ratings, all his best
Mm.
ratings came when he played on the right, and there's no way on earth Salah's gonna be playing any. He's gonna start him over Salah. I don't care how good.
No,
I know Fitz is great and all that, but you're not gonna. You'd have to. I mean, that's if he moves Salah, that's. I don't know whether that's insanity or bravery. That would be a huge call, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I think he'll start. I'm 99% positive that he'll start in the centre. You know.
Right. Okay.
And I think, I mean, that was part of the thing with Bayon, is that they wanted him to play wide, and he was up because Slotgate, wanted him to play in the centre. Was supposedly one of the reasons why he chose Liverpool. What the hell is Shane Scott? Is he coming back? Do we like
Doesn't
him
look
with?
like at the moment.
No, left.
He's getting another shirt to put on for
Yeah,
next week.
that's probably what it is. He's doing a quick change so he can advertise another one. I wonder how many. He's probably got hundreds of local businesses lined up, sponsoring him. I mean, like the first one, he had to go and change into a silk shirt, just in case Bobby was watching.
Like Rod Stewart at Glastonbury, changing his suit every 5 minutes.
Did he check? I don't know. Difficult to watch Glastonbury. I've seen clips, but not a lot. No, not actually anything.
Oh, he was great, Rod Stewart. But getting off that and getting back onto Liverpool, I think they start off the season as favourites, don't they? Miles favourites, big favourites, Liverpool.
When you're the reigning
they've
champions, yeah, you have to enter the next season as favourites, really, don't you? Is Zion back? Yeah, he's back.
And especially if you've strengthened.
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
strengthened like Liverpool have. You expect them to be.
The key things are Trent. I mean, obviously, okay, you've lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, but who else has been lost from the team, from the actual first choice team? It's the only thing they've done. Kirkhead is definitely an improvement over the way Robertson was playing, because Robertson was really struggling last season. He looked absolutely finished. There were times where he was a liability almost.
Will he stay? Will Robertson stay?
I think he's going to be the one that will go, because Simicast's already rejected offers to leave. He's already rejected a couple of moves, so I think they're going to have to get rid of one of them. I think it's going to end up being Robbo, sadly. It's a shame, because that's the end of an era. And I love Robbo. He's one of those that you do fall in love with. Right, we've got 10 minutes left. So, yeah, I'm gutted, but I think it's coming to the end of Robertson's time, yeah. Can't see who else it could be.
He's a good player. He's a little knack, but he's a good player.
Yeah. He's lost his way, he's definitely lost his legs. You could see him really struggling last season. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can't see him lasting much longer. So he's certainly not. You wouldn't give him another contract unless you really had to. So yeah, but I mean, favourites got to be, really. You have to be when you've won the league the previous season. What do you think, Seamus?
You guys don't give new contracts then, isn't it?
No,
Liverpool have to as a basic rule for the club. They have to let the players run the deal down to the last year before getting on the table for any renewal talks.
Well, Canate is still, is in his last year, so that's an interesting one. Is whether he stays or goes. That's the question.
It's very easy. It's very easy for the for the fans, the posters to say this, that, and everything about the players trying to move and everything, but it's not Konate's fault that there wasn't any talks last season. At least, I think even on a business standpoint, for any team, you have to try and figure things out whether the players committed in the long run or not. When you have 2 summer windows left for you to take a decision.
Personally, I'm not that bothered if Konate goes. To be honest, there's far too many times where you just think he's got the ability to be great, but he just mentally he just doesn't have it, and he falls apart.
I think he's changed. I think he changed last season. I think you're doing him a bit of a disservice. Like
he was better for a large period. Yeah.
He was a lot better last season. He played through injuries this season. He rushed back from injury, stayed relatively less injury. I I think having endured so much ups and downs when he's on a upward curve, it's not the ideal time to have to take this decision. If you're talking as favorites, even if you lose Konate, you have to expect them to be the favorites, especially when the challenges are. And
Who comes
also,
in? Who comes in for Canate? Tell me who comes in for Canate or plays alongside Van Dijk.
Chris's new
Plays
love child,
alongside
Mark
Van Dijk. Chris, who plays alongside Van Dijk?
That's why
If
they're trying to
Canate
find
goes.
Gueye, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to say I'm not a great big fan
No,
of Gay.
no, mate.
I could recommend a couple of players for you.
No, we don't want Maguire.
No. You can have Jacob. You can have Victor. You can have Matthias. I'm
Aren't they
not
all
like
free agents now?
No, Jacob is Harry Maguire.
Oh,
yeah.
It's Jacob Harry.
I thought you were talking about
I don't know why
Lindelof and that, because he's a free agent now.
Yeah. Victor is Lindelof and Matthias is today.
No, don't want
I would
that
even love it to Lisandro out of Liverpool.
We should just go and sign that push pineapple shaker tree from Wolves.
Oh yeah, I could do.
Yeah, I could do.
No, but okay, we can bring this. We can bring this discussion on this podcast in a brief discussion. Like, is Margay actually the best English centre back right now? Now, how low of a bar that is a different issue altogether.
You know full well who Billy will say is the best English centre back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Best young English centre back, yeah, very much so. Jared Brentwaite, I personally think so. You can see how some wouldn't.
I'd like to see him play in a decent side. Not a decent side as in like a better side. I mean, a side that plays further up the pitch is what I mean by that. I didn't mean it as in like. I mean that play a more attacking style than a Moyes and Dice style, where they're sat. Yeah. He's so deep. It's not putting him under. He's not having to do after defense, which is the same thing with Gueye. Palace play so deep. They played very defensive and hit on the counter, same as, and so they're not really being shown. They're not really being put in the same position they'd be in if they were playing for like Liverpool, for instance, because we're further up the pitch. You know what I mean? Liverpool are. So there's space behind, and they have to be. They're having to be more aware, and that's the problem you've got. Especially, I mean, why you watch the Palace play, and there's always players around him. So when he's 1-on-1, so to speak, he's never actually 1-on-1 because there's always other players around him. So if a player doesn't have the options to just knock it past him into space or go dribble round him because there's other players in the way. So if he takes him on, he's not really got many. Oh, somebody there. Oh, you got a visitor, Bill. Is that Mrs. Bill?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Is that Mrs. Bill? Closing the window.
She's nosing. Yeah.
Yeah. Did she want to star in the next podcast? She'd probably do better than you.
She's been a star on video before.
Oh,
but I can't mention it.
No, we really don't want to know about that.
She could probably get in. She could probably get in on the first meeting.
If anybody's wanting to know where to find it, Pornhub's where you look. Oh God, I'm glad I don't know. If she don't know me, because she probably slapped me. Anyway, we best call it there because it's coming up to the end of the time. So, Anyway, so let's just do a quick sum up. How do we think Wirtz will get on, Billy?
I think he'll be excellent.
Seamus?
One word, excellent.
I think in the long run he's gonna be one of the better players for Liverpool, but it's too rich for people to assume that he's just gonna come in and slot in straight away into the starting 11. I genuinely think it might take him a month or two to get going.
As I'm going to say differently, I think he'll come in first off. I think he'll start and he'll be excellent, but then defenders will start to get an idea what he's going to do. And it'll take him a while to get going properly again. Then once he gets going properly, that'll be it. But it'll take it'll be that it's where the defenders adjust for him, and he has to adapt his game, and then he's become like Salah, where he just adapts and that's it. Nobody can stop him. That's how I see it. Anyway, so
I think he might. I think he might get on the end of chances. He might get.
you score goals and
You're always. I think he might get your just your basic numbers, but overall performance, I think it might take him a couple of months to really get his foot in.
Yeah.
On the start showcasing his talents. Or maybe that's just my wishful thinking with
probably both.
somewhat intense.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, that's what everybody's expecting. We're expecting him to come in and replace Soboslai.
Yeah.
It might be fine with everyone, but
you cry if he does.
Not me.
Okay, thank you.
I think our time's up.
Yeah, we're running out of time. So thank you both for joining us and see you next time.
Okay, good night, boys. Bye, Deeps. Bye, Trish. Bye, everyone.